Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In today's tutorial, we're going to look at a request that somebody had to zoom in to the full project size on the timeline. When using the mouse button or the wheel to scroll in and out to resize the timeline, you will see that you don't always get a really good fit. And let's take a look at that, and then we'll see how we can do this. This is a slightly different script in that I've stripped everything out that is really unnecessary, and so we've gotten rid of some of the extra code that we have in our week-to-week scripts. Even though technically it's not needed, I kind of like having the extra code there, but in this case I decided to make it as small as possible. So first of all, let's look at the project, and then we'll look at the code necessary to make it work. Here I have a larger project on the timeline, and you can see that we are zoomed in on the timeline. If I zoom out using the mouse wheel, this is the size that I ultimately end up getting, and you can see we have a pretty good gap on the right side. If I scroll out one click, now we are no longer seeing the full project. What we'd like to do is basically make this full project visible, but fill in this space on the right hand side. To do that, we're going to use a script, and so we will go to Tools, Scripting, Run Script, and then Fit Project to View. Now you can see we have the entire project in view, and the amount of space on the right hand side has been greatly reduced. Now if I zoom out with the wheel and zoom back in with the wheel, it's going to go back to the old way, so we have to use the script. Now what I would recommend doing is that you take the actual script itself and place it into the My Documents / Vegas script menu folder, and then it will show up automatically in the script menu list, and you can easily add that to be a key press or a button that you would just push on the toolbar, and that would make it easy to access this script. So as you can see, if we go to Tools, Scripting, all these items here, it would be added to that list. And then if you go to Options, Customize Toolbar, you can see all of these scripts are listed as available to add to the toolbar. Or you could go to Options, Customize Keyboard, and I would select Global. You will see that all of our scripting options are available here, and so we could easily add any of these to a key press. And there is another tutorial out there on my site. If you go back to one of the very early tutorials, it shows you how to add a script to either the toolbar or a key press. Now let's look at the actual code that we are using to do this. Like I said, we have stripped this down to the bare minimum, so we've got our using script portal.vegas, and then our required entry point, and then our public void from Vegas, which passes us the Vegas variable. Now I am creating me a myVegas variable, which is of type Vegas, from the Vegas variable that was passed from Vegas itself. I like using my own variable, that way I'm not messing with theirs. Then we are going to create a time code, which is the cursor position, and get that cursor position from myvegas.transport.cursorPosition. Next, I want to select the entire project. So I do a myvegas.transport.selection start, and I'm going to start that at 0. So an easy way to get that is just to do timecode.fromFrames0. That is the very beginning of the timeline. Then I want to set my selection length, and since I'm wanting to do the entire project, I'm just getting that from myvegas.project.length. Now this is an extremely important line. If you do not do this line, it will not work. So we want to tell Vegas to update the user interface with the myvegas.updateUI. Next we have vegas.transport.zoomSelection, and that does the actual zooming in on the timeline. So that will zoom it in to that selection area, which is the entire project. These two lines right here are basically the key to the whole thing. Then we have myvegas.transport.selection length. I'm going to set that back to 0 so that I no longer have a selection area selected. And then we're going to do myvegas.transport.cursor position equals our saved cursor position up here. That'll put our cursor back to where it was to begin with. Otherwise, the cursor is going to be at the beginning of the timeline. And I figured if you were zooming in or out, you really didn't want the cursor to move. So we saved the cursor here, and then we reset it here. And that's all you need for this script. So let's run it one more time. And you can see that the timeline does properly zoom in, and the cursor stayed where it was at originally. So as you can see, this is a pretty simple little script. All it does is create a selection area and then tells it to zoom into that selection area. There was a couple of catches in that you do need to update the user interface, and the cursor position would move if you didn't save it and then reset it. So we did both of those just to make things a little bit cleaner. I hope you like this tutorial, and let me know what you'd like to see in the future, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.